This is Candidate Conversations on the WIDU Radio Network. I'm your host, Jay Reinstein. And with me today, I have Sheriff Johnathan Morgan, running for sheriff, running for re-election, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's very exciting stuff. Welcome to Candidate Conversations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, so tell our listeners maybe a little bit about you, how you got into this line of work, and what it's been like. 29 years in law enforcement, that's a long time. It's almost as old as I am. Well, no, it's a lot. Anyway, go on, Sheriff.
Yes, sir. I started back in 1996 and I actually started my career at Fayetteville Police Department. I stayed there for a very short time, and then I moved over to the county sheriff's office. I was also a volunteer firefighter at that time, and met with Chief Freddie Johnson, and he got me on with the sheriff's office, and that's where it's been since. And, I've been on the road patrol. I've worked in the schools. I helped out in the detective division. I also helped out in civil. So I've kind of been a little bit everywhere in my career. But, I'm all about public service.
Right.
That's the way I've kind of been my life, since I've been here. But I enjoy helping folks. I was raised by my grandparents. My grandparents always said, helping others out. That's what we're here for.
Right.
And so I just kind of went on with that, type of mentality. And so I really enjoy serving the people of Cumberland County, and I've really enjoyed my time with the sheriff's office.
That's great. Again, talking to Sheriff Johnathan Morgan, running for re-election. What do you see as one or two of the biggest challenges facing Cumberland County right now from a law enforcement perspective? And the second part of the question, do you think you're making progress in some of these areas?
So one of the biggest issues, and it's not just the sheriff's office in Cumberland County, this is nationwide. I was speaking to you earlier about a conference I went to up in Cherokee with the sheriffs of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And everybody voiced the same opinion as needing people. Recruitment and retention is one of the hardest things right now, and it's not just sheriff's office, police departments, it's highway patrol,
all over the country.
And so finding ways to get people interested in this line of work, especially with things going on, around. You hear all the stuff going on around with other law enforcement agencies. Unfortunately, it's happening across the nation. But the thing is that everybody usually equates one law enforcement agency with the rest of the agencies that are in the country, and so they see us as it might not be a good place for us to work. But just trying to teach people that, hey, we're here to help. We're not here to hurt anybody. My biggest thing when I was on the road patrol and in the schools and anywhere was, we're here as public servants.
Yeah.
And we're here to serve the public. And when I was training deputies, I would tell them, you might have just left one of the most horrific scenes you've ever been involved with, and you go to a call where an elderly lady has a window that's been broken out. She doesn't care about anything that happened at that scene. The most important thing going on in her life right now is that window, and you got to treat it that way.
Yeah.
And you got to let people know you care about what's happening to them at that time, because that's public service.
Yeah.
And that's how we serve our public.
Yeah. What is the vacancy rate now in Cumberland County? How many vacancies do you have? And also, what's the starting salary? If some young person out there is listening, what would you start the salary at for a deputy?
So a deputy, we're right at $58,000.
That sounds pretty good.
And
pretty competitive, right?
Oh yeah. We're competitive with the people around us. It's just now we have to work on our retention. Getting folks in the door, usually that's not too bad, but keeping them there, that's the issue. We'll get somebody, we'll keep them for 3 or 4 years, and then they'll be like, hey, this ain't for me, and hey, I want to go somewhere else.
Right.
Or another agency is, their pay scale's different. Like you might have some agencies that are topping out in 6 years,
right?
And some agencies are topping out in 10 or 12, and so that's another thing we have to fight with.
Yeah.
But another thing that we're competing against in law enforcement is technology. Is keeping up with technology, with scams, and with just
I've been scammed before, and so have my parents. I mean, it's with AI and everything out there now. I see that people falling into that trap more and more.
Oh yeah, and we get tons of phone calls.
Yeah.
You know, at least I know at least we get maybe 2 or 3, 4, or 5 a day about someone getting a phone call from the sheriff's office saying,
Right.
"Hey, you need to pay us $2,000 or $3,000, or we're gonna come pick you up." Well, that's not how we work. And
Right,
so
right,
we're
right.
not gonna call you and ask you for money.
Yeah.
We'll come knock on your door. And but no, it's just, you know, it's we're always playing catch up.
Yeah.
And so we're always trying to catch up with technology. We're trying to catch up with retention, trying to catch up with recruiting. And a lot of times we get a lot of applications, but the people that apply they're not going to make it because of, you know, a background, whether
Right.
it's a criminal background.
And what
or,
does eliminate? What would eliminate a person for a position? You know, they could, I don't know, the education, they have experience, but what are those eliminators?
So the big eliminators, of course, are, you know, a bad criminal record, you know,
Yeah,
of course.
got it.
Any truthfulness issues
Right.
you might have had, because when we have you testify in court, anything you've ever had a problem with truthfulness is going to be brought out.
Got it.
So if that happens,
it.
any and every case that you've been involved in is now going to be questioned.
Got it.
And so, you know, that could be an issue, but also driving records.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of people that has that heavy right foot, you know, and
Yeah.
they can't stay off the gas pedal. But you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, we're just in a situation now where we are, you know, we have to be very careful about who we hire.
Yeah.
And because we have to make sure that the person that we put a badge on and a gun or wearing a gun, they go out there and they're going to be doing the job
Yeah.
that you want them to do and treating the citizens right.
Yeah.
And sometimes just an interview, you know, doesn't quite cut it until they get out there and they're actually doing
Right.
the job. Do you catch on what's happening?
Right. So a lot of people in the community, you know, how do you differentiate? If you could just explain a little bit. So you're the sheriff of Cumberland County. There's a chief of police. Is there a lot of collaboration between both parties? And what is the primary difference between sheriff and police? How does that work?
Okay, so the difference between sheriff and police. Sheriff is a constitutional office. It's elected by the people.
Yeah.
And so where a police chief is appointed by the town,
Council,
the
yeah.
council or the manager or whoever.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there in that the sheriff is the highest law enforcement official in the county.
Got it.
You know, they have more authority than anybody else in the county.
You got a lot of power, Sheriff.
You do. It is. It's been eye opening to a lot of things that
Yeah.
that you have to do as a sheriff.
Yeah.
You know, I was very fortunate having some good people around me when I was coming up and had some good mentors and,
Yeah.
and teaching me how to first you got to learn how to be a law enforcement officer, and now
Right.
I'm learning how to be a sheriff and a politician, which is not my strong point.
Yeah.
But I do know how to be a deputy sheriff. I know how to be a sheriff. You know, I've been doing it for a long time. But no, that's pretty much the difference between a sheriff and a police chief. Collaboration wise, we're doing great things with Fayetteville Police Department.
That's good.
And
good
even
to-
Methodist, FTCC, Hope Mills, Spring Lake. When I first took over, within the first 2 weeks, I had a roundtable meeting with every
That's great.
law enforcement lead in the county, just to say, hey, I'm the sheriff here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need me to do to help
Right.
you? And, you know, because at the end of the day, we can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And, you know, criminals, unfortunately, do not follow district lines
No,
like
they
we
do
have
not.
to. And so it's nice to have that collaboration between the agencies so that way we can say, hey, did you have a red pickup truck at that house last week? Yes.
Right.
We had one last night. And so we start building patterns for, you know, suspects or for, you know, offenders. So that way you're kind of working together and you're saying, oh, okay, well, this guy's got a pattern, or, you know, this person has a pattern. So
Right.
that we're working together on things. But Chief Bryan and Chief Jarman and Chief Dollinger have all, you know, they've all been great working with them, and I'm enjoying going to enjoy working with new FSU chief,
right,
and Methodist chief as well. But we're doing some good things at the sheriff's office, and we're going to do them together.
That's great. Again, talking to Sheriff Johnathan Morgan, running for re-election, Cumberland County Sheriff. Big job.
Yes, sir.
You know, there's always in communities, it's sort of a two-part question here, mistrust of law enforcement. What do you do? What is your role as sheriff to improve trust within the sheriff's department?
Well,
how do you do that?
Try to be as transparent as possible, showing people what we do out here, and that's the reason I'm more visible on social media than I've ever been comfortable being in my life.
What type of social media? Tell our listeners.
Facebook, Instagram.
Got it.
I try to put things out there so they see.
No TikTok yet?
No.
Maybe TikTok down the road.
Maybe later on down the road.
People. Go on. Okay.
But no, not right now.
Not yet.
But no, it's I've never been somebody that's been on social media, so it's been a learning environment for me. But letting the citizens see you and see our people, and see that they are people,
right,
and that we're approachable.
Yeah,
you can talk
that's
to
important.
us. And as an SRO, I tried to make sure that.
And that's a school resource officer.
Yes, sir. School resource officer. I've done that for years, but that taught me that we are, that we are that sounding board for the citizens to come talk to us, because if you're unapproachable, you're not going to get anything done.
Right.
It's like community watch meetings. Every time I go to a community watch meeting, I tell those people,
you go to all is that part of your role as sheriff? You don't assign
yes, sir.
The deputies. You really are out there doing that, and
I try to go as many as I can.
That's good.
And because a lot of them they're on the same night, and so it's hard to go to all of them at the same time. But I do try to go to community watch meetings. But the ones I go to, I tell those folks, you are our best tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
Because you're the ones that's in the neighborhood, and you see things, because we can't stay in one neighborhood all the time. We're in one neighborhood, then we got to go to another neighborhood, then we got to go to another neighborhood.
Right.
And so having those citizens, having those people that can see things going on in a neighborhood, that's essential to our job.
Yeah.
And, us working together and being able to collaborate and being able to talk and be able to, hear your problems in the neighborhoods or hear your problems in the area, that gives us something to go on.
Got it.
We just had a narcotic search warrant we got from a Crime Stoppers tip.
Really?
And so we was able to arrest somebody off of a Crime Stoppers tip.
And they get that Crime Stopper gets the reward? And
Yes, sir.
I've never had to turn anyone in, but that reward sounds pretty...
Yes, sir.
Could be pretty encouraging.
Yes, sir. I think it's 910-483-TIPS. I think.
There you go. Please, 983-480. What? Say that again.
910-483-TIPS.
There you go.
I think that's for Crime Stoppers. I think I got that number right. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but no, it's that is our biggest tool, is our community.
Yeah.
And
talk about just a couple more questions. So, crime, I'm looking at statistics all over the country, and I keep hearing some of these big cities, major drops in crime, homicide, violent crimes, and other crimes. How does it look in Cumberland County? How are we looking? And is there any program that you can attribute maybe the drop in crime, if there is a drop in crime?
Crime rates ebb and flow. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. And so, to say that one program works better than another, I can't attest to anything working better than another. The biggest tool we have is us getting out there and being with the community and being face to face with the people in the community, and letting them know that we're here for them. And but to say crime may drop this week and it'll be up next week. It just ebbs and flows, and unfortunately, it's hard to catch that pattern every now and then.
Right.
And so it's like we had a big push for speeding in school zones the other day. But
Did you catch many speeders?
We wrote 193 citations. I
No
think,
way, really? And what does a ticket cost for a speeding in a?
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's all according to how fast you were going.
Got it.
But it's up in the $200-300.
Wow, that should be a deterrent enough to
sir.
not speed in the school zone.
We
Wow.
actually took one to jail doing 89 and a 35.
Oh my God,
in a school zone.
that's outrageous.
Yes, sir.
That's outrageous. So that's important stuff. Is there any two other really quick questions? How large is your force? How many deputies do you have? And do you know what your budget is?
So we have around 600 folks that work for us,
Wow.
and that's the sworn and non-sworn side.
Wow.
And so because we have the jail also.
Yeah, the jail, exactly.
And
I got a tour of the jail by Judge Oliveira, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. It was very interesting.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad I'm not on that side.
Yes, sir.
It was good to be able to leave when we were done with the tour.
That's a different feeling when that door closed behind you.
Oh, my God. And he put me in the, is it a padded cell or something
sir.
like that? And I was like, please let me out. I was getting nervous. But again, you guys are over the jail.
Yes, sir.
And is it a capacity now?
So as far as citizens in the jail, we're right around 700 folks inside the jail.
My gosh, there's a lot of bad guys out there.
Well,
Bad men and women. I don't want to just say men.
The one thing I can say is a lot of times our jail gets used as a mental health facility.
Oh, got it.
As a drug rehab center.
Got it.
And a a homeless shelter, and it's none of those things.
No.
And so those are something, those are things, I'm working on now is, trying to, help get folks out of the jail.
Yeah.
We're working on getting the GED program back in the jail.
Wow.
And so that way we can get some folks, hopefully we can give them an education, they get out, they get a job, and they won't have to reoffend and get back in the jail. That's my biggest thing is the one impact I can make is lowering the number of people in that jail.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And
well, again, I have a final question for you, and it's a very important one, Sheriff Morgan. Why should people vote for Sheriff Morgan on March 3rd in the primary?
Well, everybody has their own path. I feel like God has led me down this path. I prayed about taking this job when I was first, asked to take it, and so I just feel like this is the path I'm on. But I've been doing this job for close to 30 years.
Yep.
I've been serving the community as a deputy sheriff, but also a volunteer firefighter. I've done that for 20 years, but I believe in working with the public. I believe in serving the public. I'm a very proactive law enforcement officer, and so I just feel like that getting out there, being visible, being seen, that's how you work for the community. And as a sheriff, I work for the people in Cumberland County.
Yep.
And so I hope I can get their vote in March, and I look forward to working for them for the next 4 years, if so be it. And but I appreciate the time you allow me here, and thank you so much.
Great. Again, we've been talking to Sheriff Johnathan Morgan, running for re-election in March, and I guess the final is what, November? Is that, or when is that?
So early voting starts in February,
Yep.
and the primary is in March, and then the general election will be in November.
In November. So again, thank you so much for joining us today on Candidate Conversations.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, you've been listening to Candidate Conversations on the WIDU Radio Network. Until next time, have a great day.